Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Jack. Thanks Alex for giving us an opportunity to present.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I'm gonna spend 30 minutes to introduce our product. So a little bit about myself. I'm start supporting the GRID product as it become available. So it's about 2 years, and I'm working at NVIDIA for 6 years. And I'm supporting professional graphic for 9 years, so I'm probably really the graphic guy. So
Very good.
yeah.
How old are you?
35. So we have NVIDIA for a while, but without graphic card, we can never to do the design job for the users really needed graphic card. So once we have the GRID card, and so the VDI can reach out to the market and all industry. So every device now have a GPU, even the smartphone. Right? We have a product called Tegra, and the best mobile GPU inside. So everything is all about DirectX and OpenGL. If you guys are familiar with some applications, I will explain later about the APIs. So basically it's all the GPU done for graphics. Right? You have to use both either DirectX or OpenGL to run the language. So basically we have like 4 type of environment when graphic involved in the media environment. So the first one, actually, we don't talk much about it. So if you want a CPU to simulate GPU job, they never gonna work out. So and we talk about the pass-through. So this technology coming when the Intel has the technology to do the hardware device through the PCIe bus pass through the VM. And I think it's about like 3 years ago, and the people start using that, but the cost is really high for using pass through to like 1-to-1 scale. And then we come with some the share model graphics like Remote FX or VSTA, or even some like I don't know some of the NAS. So it's like share graphics in the Linux environment for oil and gas customer. The downside for the share mode, or we call that like software virtualization mode, is they only support limited APIs. So the API I talked about in the previous slides, the DX and OpenGL. So if this model, if the application using higher graphic APIs and it doesn't support, it falls to the CPU mode. And eventually we come out like vGPU. So it's combined 2 type of environment together. So they have both advantage of them. The vGPU support the latest APIs. So it's more like you call the GPU slice layer and pass through to each API. And K-band and K2, of course, I think most of you already heard about the product. Just a little bit introduce about the graphic cards. The one thing is you need to be aware of is K1 only using DDR3 frame buffer, so the performance kind of half the speed of the DDR5. So on the hand, graphic card now using DDR5, and I think within a year will be like HBM. So it's a new stack for the high-speed frame buffer or graphic memory. So let's take a look at about how they works. And actually, we introduce we call it vGPU manager into the hypervisor, and we use additional memory unit control to isolate the GPU frame buffer. So every frame buffer for each VM is very isolated. Alright, so we have a physical GPU here and a vGPU manager on top of a hypervisor and our own NVIDIA driver running on the VMs.
But essentially the drivers running on the VMs are standard, those standard.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the standard, driver. So we always recommend use if you only vGPU, you have to use the driver pair with the vGPU manager. So you can, once you upgrade the vGPU manager, you have to upgrade the VM driver as well, and it have to be same version.
Because the GPU manager is like a broker, and if the NVIDIA driver and the VM doesn't know about the broker, the entire technology doesn't work.
Yeah, it goes away.
Yeah.
So, but pass-through is a different scenario.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, so pass-through you can just use the standard driver, but if you use vGPU, you have to use the specific version. And that's the vGPU profile. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But one thing is worth to mention is like when the things come out, everybody think we kind of virtualize the GPU entirely, but actually the core or the GPU computing unit is not isolated, it's shared, but only that frame buffer is isolated. So.
And it says max displays 2560. You do also support 4K, is it?
Sorry?
Do you
4K?
do also support 4K? Like the 4K resolution?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Not for this one.
We're working on
But yeah, the next one. So the maximum is still like 2K. Yeah. But we support 4 displays. But once you go to 4 displays, performance will go
Probably
down.
with the K3.
Yeah, K3 and K4.
So this is why you can see, the frame buffer is
It's not going to be the next
isolated by the profiles, but you can see the cores are shared.
Where are you seeing a lot of this? Like, on the server side, you guys dominate in the gaming industry. I'm just speaking from the Los Angeles territory side of things. I see it in engineering. Where else are you seeing it? Like, other than the obvious, applications?
I mean, for
Like, where are you guys having your success at? Which
for us,
vertical?
it's like all the enterprise customer, like especially like manufacturing industry. So people making cars, planes, ships.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
People using CAD, AutoCAD,
Yeah.
and all that. Okay. I didn't know, like, from a gaming side of things, like, those guys, they don't virtualize. Like, Riot Games is a prime example.
Yeah,
They do
yeah.
not virtualize any of their systems because that smidge of a difference is the difference between being, the badass gaming that they are versus,
Yes.
crappy systems.
Well, that's going to change.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Because more and more you see online games, that is a new trend. So either you build your own high-end workstations at home. So my
Sure.
son is 18, he builds his own gaming platforms now.
Oh, wow.
Based on NVIDIA hardware, massively. But the other thing is online gaming, and there more and more GPU
virtualized.
acceleration
Okay.
is also introduced. Yes, absolutely. There's one company called Otoy. They do nothing else but virtualize gaming for the masses.
Sure. Okay.
So
That's
these-
good to
It's
know.
more like casual games. 'Cause-
Yeah.
And they do it themselves
It's not
as
the
well.
high-end
the-
shooters.
The handheld, right?
Yeah.
The handheld is
We do have
virtualized as well.
That's a question of latency.
Yeah. But the
Absolutely,
handheld is-
absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Probably like 60 or 70% of my customer for now is from manufacturing. So, and some of like AEC, construction company.
Yeah.
And some of education as well. So let's take a look at the vGPU profile. And the only thing you need to be aware is like we still not support to mix profile on a single physical GPU, so you cannot use two profile inside one GPU, one physical GPU. But you know, every great car has like at least two GPUs, so you can go that way. Here's an example about you know, how you to provision different scenario for your end users. So one K2 car can like using classroom mode to support very high-end designers or middle-range phone users, or mix it together. So here's a example about automotive customer. So all the PLC I have done is normally they'll choose like a K240 or K260 or meet their requirement. So like K240, I have a customer to do the car light design, and they have like a 1 GB Cartier mode, still running smoothly on the K440Q profile.
So this basically profile, and this profile can only apply to K2, right? It cannot
Yes.
apply to K1.
Yeah, actually we sell most of cars K2. And there's another policy. I think this is first of all introduced by the Citrix. I'm not sure there are other can do it for now, but Citrix definitely can do it. It's like when you provision a VM with GPU, you can choose either. There's two policies to provision. As I mentioned before, because the GPU core is shared, so for the lower bottom, if you want a better performance, you should choose that one. So each VM attached to an individual physical GPU. So if there's no second user running on that, you can get like full performance on a single GPU. If you choose high density, then they will provision the VM with GPU within the same GPU on board. And we also provide the management, the utilization or GPU top. You can monitor how the GPU works, especially when customer complain about unsmooth experience. The first thing you need to look at is how the GPU working.
Does this tool, does it update dynamically, or is it just like static?
Or you can use combine a lot of command line can loop, or you can export to a log.
Right.
Yeah.
But this information, it stands there and it updates?
Update, look, you can set like 1 second
Alright,
or
okay.
whatever.
Oh, is it integrated to any management portal?
Not yet. It's just, you still need to run the command line inside the hypervisor. Yeah. So it's like baby Linux based. And you can, like I said, you can use combine the command line to export a log, so you can monitor how the GPUs being utilized during a week, and whether I choose the right profile for the certain user. And there's some common mistakes during the POCs. The first one is CPU, especially the industry we're working with. Almost all the manufacturing software like TIA or ENX old version of it, they only utilize a single thread. So even you assign like 8 or 12 cores to the virtual machine, it doesn't work. It's required very high frequency instead for a number of cores. So normally when we do POC, we recommend to choose high frequency CPU instead of the number of cores.
When you say high frequency, the K2 only comes in one flavor with one frequency as well?
I mean the CPU, not the.
The CPU of the host?
Yeah, the host.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the second one is at least you need to assign like 4 vCPU. Even I mentioned there's only single thread used for certain application like CATIA, but you still need at least another one to do the encoding stuff. And for now, everybody is still using CPU encoding, so it's also costs a lot of CPU power to do that. And also for the server itself, normally when people do NVIDIA, so the server comes up with a setting like with power management, or they try to balance the power consumption. But when you do the NVIDIA with graphic card, you want to be the virtual workstation. You have to set all the setting from system BIOS to the maximum performance. Also, we recommend all the POC box should have SSD for local drive. And also, there is a part most people will ignore. Is every time we release a vGPU driver, it comes out with release notes, but actually, nobody really read about it. And every bug we currently have, and how they all the detailed reasons will write on the release notes. It's explain a lot of things. So please read about it. There's also one thing I forgot to mention is like when we talk about the shared GPU core, actually we have a maximum to control the GPU itself. Once I assign the one VM with a certain vGPU profile, how we manage the GPU, not use whole GPU resource. So we call like FIOR. It's like frame rate limited. So we control the frame rate for a certain vGPU profile to control they don't use all the GPU resource. And how they turn on for benchmark, that's all right on the release notes. Also, please use the certified server, because folks sometimes they see I got server with PCIe bus and they just plug it and run it.
And what's the main problem you see with non-certified servers?
First of all, will be the power is one issue. Power and the heat, right? And also, normally the server design without plugging a GPU card, the PCIe bus resource is not enough. So.
And like the Dell servers need the 1100 watt
Yes.
power supplies, and the airflow is different for every
Yeah.
server.
And
The
also,
certified servers don't even boot up if the requirements are not fulfilled.
yeah.
So.
And also, like pin CPU to vCPU to a certain VM, also kind of like we have at least 10 to 15% of performance boost up. Because if you don't do it, it will go to the QPI. And,
So back to the server.
so this, yeah.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, because for now, it's like every PCI controller is inside the CPU. It's not like before, right? So CPU 0 attach certain GPU with it. And if you go like, if you application running on another CPU or vCPU served on VM, and it's go to the far side of GPU for the graphic process will be slowed down. And also the driver. People always asking how can I find the previous driver version of it. So when you go to our website, yeah, the standard page will only show one driver. Okay, right. So it's always show the latest driver. But for enterprise customer, once you install the driver and without problem, we never recommend you upgrade it. Right.
Okay.
Or if you upgrade the driver and you found some bug or issues, you want to find out the previous one, you go to our website and there's like beta and our driver clicks. It's just very small there. And then once you click it, you can see that will list all the certified driver. Also normally you don't need to do any training on our control panel, but for benchmarking, you have to turn off the VSync for benchmark. Otherwise, they will lock like 60 FPS, and right, so the performance or the number you saw is only like the running under 60 FPS. But it doesn't really affect the VDI environment because all the remote protocol never beyond the 60 FPS, right? So it's just for the benchmark. Also, if you think like unsmooth experience, sometimes when the application running, but not really like heavy 3D API calls, our GPU will slow down like P8. We'll have a certain level of power consumption level to control it. And by default, they will say like 3D application control or media driver control. So if you see the NVIDIA SMI command line, you will see the power indicator to show the frequency of the GPU running. The P0 is the full speed. But sometimes the GPU feel like I have nothing to do, I will slow down like 1/3. And switch back with P8 to P0, you will experience a smooth experience. So normally when we do VDI project, which is almost recommend to choose there's a setting for constant performance. So it's always go P0. It will slow down. And also we have a lot of SDKs you can use just for demo. It's like DX SDK or OpenGL SDK you can download free from our developer website. Let's talk about a little bit about the APIs. The two APIs I mentioned, all the graphics cards only know those two languages, right? So DX come from Microsoft, of course, and almost every Autodesk product right now switch to the DX accelerator. So like 3ds Max, Maya, all the animators too. And basically all the CAD user or CAE user still stick on the OpenGL because so they still have a Linux version of it. Here's a list of set by the colors. The current target market we stick on PC manufacturing. Actually, this is why NVIDIA dominates the professional graphic market because our driver is really certified and compatible with those enterprise ISPs. So this is the main reason people choose an NVIDIA card because our drivers really go down the professional applications. Here's a list of the current VDI solution support all the API version. So just look at for certain application what require like the X11, and you can find out which solution you have to use. Otherwise, they won't support. They won't accelerate it. Okay, here there's some links about if you want to find out more about the great product. We have a video on YouTube on white papers, success story, things. Okay, that's it. Thank you.